Meet John. He makes about $1,000 a month. He saves $300 each month for a property he wants to invest in. He sacrifices small luxuries in the present so he can build his future. Meet Jack. He also makes about $1,000 a month. He spends $300 on things he doesn't quite need. He has no savings and his expenses are only growing. Jack lives for today and doesn't concern himself with tomorrow. Consider this pattern goes on for the next few years. What do you think will happen to our two friends? One will be financially free and one will be in debt. A lot of debt. Don't go broke trying to look rich. Being debt-free is a mindset shift. You don't truly become debt-free by simply paying off what you owe. Sure, you may be out of the woods for the time being, but your habits will catch up to you. To be truly debt-free is to practice wise spending and making wise decisions about your financial future. It's about understanding how to manage your money and learning how to multiply it. In this video, I'm going to share the different types of debt and what you can do to be debt-free. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this on a weekly basis. Not all debt is the same. God forbid a medical emergency comes up and you're a couple thousand short. Things like that are unfortunate but unavoidable. They do happen, and in many cases, it's not in our control. But for this video, we're going to focus on debt incurred by lifestyle habits and choices. Now, before we move on, I'm going to explain the two types of debt so you have a better understanding throughout the video. There is good debt and there is bad debt. Good debt is looked at sort of like an investment, something that will grow in value or generate income in the long run. A few examples of good debt are student loans, home mortgages, or car loans, especially if the vehicle is used for business. Bad debt are purchases that quickly lose their value or don't generate any income. A few examples of bad debt are personal loans, payday loans, or high-interest credit cards, to name a few. Let's say Jack wants to buy the latest pair of sneakers. At a retail price of $250, Jack decides to go ahead and purchase the shoes anyway. He puts them on his credit card and decides he'll pay them off in a couple of months. No worries. But what Jack doesn't know is that he's not paying $250. He's going to be paying a little bit more. Balances that are not paid in full by the end of the month will charge you interest. The higher the balance, the higher the interest. If Jack planned to pay off his sneakers in a couple of months with the minimum payments of $20 at the average interest rate of 19.24%, it will take him 15 months to fully pay off his purchase. He will also pay $31 in interest, so he would end up paying a total of $231. And by the time he paid off his sneakers, they'll be long out of style. Now carry that over to larger purchases, or multiple small purchases. The average American household carry a debt of up to $16,000. That's a lot of interest. Purchases can add up if you're not careful. A snack here and a coffee there doesn't feel like much at the moment, but if you're not constantly checking your transactions on a weekly basis, you will be at a huge disadvantage. Now, what if you're already in debt? What can you do today to start working towards being debt-free? As I previously said, always check your transactions and statements. I check all my accounts at least 2 to 3 times a week. This will give you a better idea where your money is actually going. I've had friends who started doing this regularly and they realized they were paying for subscriptions they either forgot about or no longer used. Make a list of all your expenses in the past few months. Fixed expenses on one side and variable expenses on the other. Fixed expenses are things like your utility bills, phone bills, internet bills, etc. Variable expenses are things like movie tickets, Starbucks coffee, eating out, etc. After you've compiled your list, take a long look at it. Understand where your money goes each month. Next, you want to focus on variable expenses and remove anything you can go without. When I did this, I removed almost all my variable expenses. I realized I was eating out too much, and I was buying things I truly didn't need. It was shocking when I added up all the data from the past 6 months and realized just how much money I wasted. It was truly an eye-opening experience. Next, you want to figure out how much you make in a month. Add up all your sources of income and subtract your fixed and variable expenses. what you're left with is what you have to start paying off your debt. Don't be tempted to use that money for anything else other than paying off your balance. Now you want to make one more list, a list of all your debt. Write down the balances and the interest rates. For most people, it'll probably be only credit cards. What we want to do is pay a little more than the minimum balance for each debt while focusing on one specific debt until that is fully paid off. This is where most people are divided. There's two ways you can go about this. You can either start with the balanced, highest in interest, so you're not paying more money in the long run, or you can start with the debt which has the lowest balance, so you quickly pay it off and you check it off the list. This would probably give you a psychological boost as well. Figure out what's best for you and your situation, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter all that much. As long as you're clearing your debts, you should be fine. A few side tips. You want to cut spending on things that are unnecessary for a while. When buying food, be sure to only buy what you truly need. Don't get suckered into buying those snacks at the checkout line. There's a reason they put them there. Cut back at eating out and buying name brand items. There's no reason you should pay $70 for a shirt when you can get a similar one for just $20 or less, especially if you're thousands of dollars in debt already. If you don't need it and you can't afford it, don't buy it. Being free of bad debt is an amazing feeling. Just the psychological boost alone is worth it for me. It'll increase your credit score and open more doors to invest in real estate and other ventures. Once you adopt these habits, you will look at debt from a new perspective. You will be wiser and better when it comes to money, and you will live a life on your terms, debt-free.